Welcome back to Iraqi Dinar, your trusted source for reliable updates on foreign currency developments, financial intelligence, and global economic trends. Today, we explore a scenario that has captured the imagination of dinar investors for over a decade, the long-anticipated revaluation of the Iraqi dinar. For years, holders of the dinar have waited patiently, driven by the hope that one day their investment would reach its transformative potential. That day, according to respected analyst Frank 26, may finally be approaching. Frank 26, a longtime commentator on Iraq's monetary policy, now speaks with renewed conviction. He believes that Iraq is on the verge of a significant financial milestone that could dramatically reshape its monetary landscape and send ripples across the global economy. What was once seen as mere speculation is now backed by tangible reform efforts, credible indicators, and strategic decisions made by the Central Bank of Iraq. The mood among investors has shifted. Confidence is building not just because of rhetoric, but because of visible progress. Within the past 24 hours, conversations within financial communities and currency networks have reached a new intensity. Frank 26 recently released an emotionally charged update, suggesting that the long-awaited announcement could come as soon as tomorrow. This statement has reinvigorated the global dinar community, with many interpreting his comments as more than speculation. They see them as a reflection of real, unfolding change. One of the most compelling aspects of the current outlook is its alignment with Iraq's recent economic initiatives. Over the past year, the Central Bank of Iraq has launched comprehensive structural reforms aimed at strengthening the dinar and stabilizing its position within the broader international financial ecosystem. These reforms include improvements to financial oversight, modernization of banking systems, and efforts to increase Iraq's foreign currency reserves. Moreover, Iraq has established deeper ties with key institutions such as the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, partnerships that have played a central role in its economic transformation. Frank 26 and other insiders believe these changes were not random or experimental. They were deliberate, long-demanded steps necessary for Iraq to be taken seriously by global stakeholders. With many of these prerequisites reportedly fulfilled, the final step could now be a public confirmation of the revaluation. For more than a decade, discussions about the dinar's potential have oscillated between hopeful optimism and deep skepticism. The journey has been fraught with false predictions, misinformation, and cycles of disappointment. However, what sets the current moment apart is a new level of legitimacy. Iraq's economic trajectory, once derailed by conflict, corruption, and political instability, has taken a turn. Verified sources report that the nation has enacted wide-ranging banking reforms, strengthened regulatory oversight, and accumulated sufficient reserves to support a more valuable currency. Strategic cooperation with international monetary organizations has further enhanced Iraq's position. Through policy alignment, debt restructuring, and anti-corruption measures, Iraq has worked hard to rebuild credibility and trust in its financial institutions. These efforts, according to Frank 26, are why a revaluation is not just feasible, it is likely imminent. Unlike previous cycles where optimism lacked substance, today's discussions are grounded in real progress and collaborative governance. Iraq's financial recalibration is no longer an idea, it's a movement. Tomorrow could mark the start of a new chapter in Iraq's economic story, one driven by transparency, international cooperation, and technical readiness. One of the driving factors behind growing expectations is the rapid modernization of Iraq's banking and financial systems. Over the past 12 to 18 months, Iraq has integrated with SWIFT, enhanced fraud prevention technologies, and expanded digital banking access across the nation. These upgrades support the infrastructure required for a modern currency capable of facilitating real-time cross-border transactions. Frank 26 asserts that these technical advancements, combined with institutional reforms and global partnerships, provide the foundation necessary for a currency reset. Iraqi leadership, he notes, is increasingly determined to have the dinar reflect the country's improving economic stature. The timing of these developments suggests that a public declaration of the RV could come soon, perhaps even within hours. The role of the United States in Iraq's financial resurgence cannot be understated. Behind the scenes, U.S. officials have quietly acknowledged and even praised Iraq's economic progress. There are growing indications that American financial institutions have been preparing for Iraq's re-entry into global finance for some time, viewing it not as a gamble, but as a carefully managed transition. Frank 26 claims that major U.S. banks are now anticipating a possible announcement, positioning themselves to act as part of a coordinated, multi-phase rollout. This kind of endorsement from U.S. financial circles lends further credibility to the revaluation scenario. It signals to markets and investors that this isn't just a hopeful theory. It may already be in motion. The delay in reaching this point, despite years of forecasts, stems from the complex challenges Iraq has had to overcome. Unstable governance, deep-rooted corruption, and the legacy of war all slowed progress. To raise the dinar's value, Iraq needed to do more than issue promises. It had to deliver measurable results. In recent years, it has done just that. Anti-corruption legislation has been enacted. Sovereign debt has been restructured, and Iraq has partnered with global auditing firms to verify its foreign reserves. These steps have enhanced the Central Bank of Iraq's resilience and increased investor confidence. According to Frank 26, the most significant obstacles are now gone. What remains is a matter of timing and formal disclosure. If and when the revaluation is officially announced, the dinar would re-enter global currency exchanges, allowing its value to adjust dynamically based on market demand. Early holders of the dinar may see considerable gains depending on the initial conversion rate. However, experts agree that the rollout will likely be carefully managed to avoid shocks to the economy. Temporary measures, such as transaction caps or tiered exchange rates, may be used to maintain stability and deter speculation or fraud. Frank 26 has even suggested that newly printed dinar notes are already allocated to major banks, indicating that the operational infrastructure is in place. International financial systems appear ready to support the transition. Should the RV occur, it could invigorate Iraq's domestic economy and position the country as a legitimate and trusted player in international trade. Enhanced trade efficiency, reduced uncertainty, and increased global trust would all be possible outcomes. According to Frank 26, this moment is far more than a simple currency adjustment. It is a gateway to Iraq's reintegration into the global economy. If the RV begins with an initial exchange rate slightly above $1, as he anticipates, it would represent a monumental leap from the dinar's current valuation. This starting rate could lead to a managed float system, where the currency's value adjusts gradually based on market forces. If Iraq continues on its current economic path, supported by rising oil revenues, increased foreign investment, and ongoing reform, the dinar's value may appreciate further over time. However, analysts emphasize that any increases will likely be incremental and closely regulated to ensure economic balance. For dinar holders, post-RV decisions will vary widely. Some may choose to cash out a portion of their holdings to realize immediate gains, while others may hold longer in the hopes of further appreciation. These decisions should be based on individual financial goals, risk tolerance, and market conditions. Experts strongly recommend using only licensed, regulated channels for currency exchange, especially during the early days of revaluation. As excitement builds, it's important to approach this moment with calm, strategy, and measured optimism. The dinar story has seen many premature predictions in the past. What makes the current situation different is the presence of verifiable reform, international collaboration, and institutional transparency. Frank 26's optimism is no longer just aspirational. It's backed by a foundation of progress. Whether tomorrow brings the official announcement or signals the final stages of preparation, one thing is clear. Iraq is poised to re-emerge as a credible economic force. The world is watching, and the Iraqi dinar, once a symbol of volatility, may now stand at the threshold of legitimacy, strength, and global respect. If Frank 26's projections prove accurate, we could soon witness a financial transformation that redefines Iraq's place in the international marketplace and rewards those who have waited patiently for this long-awaited moment. Stay informed, stay prepared. Tomorrow might not just be another day. It could mark the beginning of a new financial era.